It's not that difficult to earn credit card points and miles if you know what you're doing. There's always a new sign-up bonus to go after, and the banks keep announcing higher and higher offers. If you're willing to put in just a small amount of work, you can quickly learn how to rack up enough points to take the trip of a lifetime. It is not easy, however, to actually take those points and redeem them for great value. That's the hard part. Not only is it difficult to learn about award availability and all of the different nuances, small details, and skills required to use your points for great value, it can be just as hard to plan these trips by taking time off work at the right time for these vacations or getting your spouse and family on board to want to go to these destinations on rigid timelines. This is the side of points and miles that not a lot of YouTubers touch on. It's really easy to turn on the camera, flash the highest offer, tell people to sign up for the card, but it's not easy to really get into the weeds and talk about how these trips are actually booked. Back in April, I made this video where I talked about how I redeemed 1 million credit card points and miles to take a $50,000 trip to Japan. In today's video, I'm going to go over how I just booked a $20,000 trip to Italy for next year. My goal for this channel is to be someone who walks the walk and actually takes the dream vacations that we so often talk about. So without further ado, let's jump right in. All right, so just to quickly set the stage for this video, we're going to be talking about the hotel and the flights for my trip to Italy next year in 2026. This is going to be about how I booked them. How did I find the award availability? How many points and miles did this cost me? What's a cent per point? Where did I transfer points from? How did I earn them? And we're going to be getting into the real weeds and the nitty gritty of like, how do you book these types of trips? Once you have the points, once you've accumulated everything, how do you actually go about booking them and finding the availability and really booking that high value trip? I'm not going to be going over a review and pictures of the spa of the hotel and what restaurants I'm going to eat at and tour guides. And it's not going to be a review of the destination. It's going to be about really the fine-tuned details of this trip. And so that's what it's going to be about. I just want to set the stage. We're going to be getting really deep into the weeds in that sense. So if you're looking for a review of what tour guide to select on Viator, this isn't for you. So if you want to learn about how to book these types of trips and how to find these types of awards to book with your credit card points and miles, you're in the right place. So let's jump in. Got a nice little presentation here to go through. So this is, we booked the Grand Hotel Victoria. So that is the hotel. That's where this all started. So just to preface this a little bit, my wife and I went to Italy on our honeymoon back in 2023. We loved it very much, and it's been very high on the list to go back, and that's what we're doing here. So we're going to Lake Como. That's in northern Italy. So the first time we went to Italy, we did all the stuff. Rome. We went to Rome, Florence, Venice. Did all the touristy stops, up and down the major cities in Italy. This time we wanted to take a more relaxed approach and go to a beautiful area in Lake Como. This is a hotel that I've had my eye on for a very long time. I'll talk about that in just a second, but this is a very, very, very nice property. It's an SLH property, and you've got a picture up here that it was the background at the beginning of the video, and up in the top right corner here is a picture of the location. As you can see, it's very, very beautiful. So we were able to secure this hotel for 5 nights right in peak season. I'm not going to give away the exact time that I'll be there, just to not dox myself here, but just trust me, it's at the perfect time when you would want to go to this location. So the way that I was alerted to this, okay, so let's start there. This is a very highly sought after hotel. It is not, you can't just log on to Hilton.com and plug it in and say, I want to go here. That's just not how it works. Like if you go there right now, there's probably, I would venture to say there's very, very limited, maybe 1 or 2 days of award availability, maybe 0. I didn't check that availability right before this video recording, but I can assure you that it's going to be impossible for you to find 5 nights in a decent peak season at this time. It gets swallowed up very, very quickly. So this is something I've had alerts set on Rooms.Aero, which is a great platform. It's kind of the sister site of Seats.Aero, which is how I often find award availability for flights. There's also a hotel portion. I was not alerted to this particular opening for the booking for next year through Rooms.Aero, but I've had alerts set for that. How I was alerted to this particular and to be able to jump on this deal is by just scrolling through Reddit. And somebody just said, hey, booked 5 nights. Award availability is wide open for 2026 for most dates. And as soon as I saw that, I was just, relaxing, scrolling through Reddit, not really seeking out any information or looking to plan any type of trip. And I saw that notification. I quickly immediately went on to Hilton and checked the if that rumor was true. And sure enough, there was a wide open availability for all of next year, or the parts that count next year, the parts that I was looking to potentially go on a trip for next year, and it was completely wide open. So I dropped everything that I was doing. I think it was on a weekend. I remember just having some free time, and it was all systems go at that time. So and that's kind of the first note that I'll make is like when there are these really desirable hotels, locations, and things that go and get sold out really quick, you need to act quickly. You can't be like, oh, let me just wait for, my wife or husband to get home from work and we'll discuss it. Do you actually want to go to Italy? Do you want to, I don't know. There's no time for indecisiveness and just to sit around. Like if there is something like this. So I would say like this hotel here or the Park Hyatt Kyoto, or ANA first class or business class in the suite or the room, or any of these really, really sought after. Everybody's trying to book them. They go fast, so you do not have time to like sit around and play. Like it's go time. So like if you want to get serious and like book some of these, like dream vacations, if you want to say, that's kind of a cringy word that I've used a couple times already in this video. But if you want to book these types of trips and these aspirational travel and go to these amazing places, you need to be ready to be flexible as much as you can. Obviously, we've got jobs and things to do, but you need to act quick. So that's the first piece of advice. That's exactly what I did. I just started immediately and went rolling. So at the time, I believe I had about just a random amount of Hilton points left over from my trip to Japan, and some sign-up bonuses that I did in the past, and points purchases and so on and so forth. I think I had like 17,000 points. The standard room award for this hotel is 140,000 Hilton Honors points. That is obviously that's a huge amount. Just trust me when I say 140,000 for one night is a lot. It's on the very high end. But this hotel, in my opinion, is worth it. So something also to note with Hilton Honors, for if you book 5 consecutive nights on points, the 5th night is free. So that's what I did here. It was going to be a booking of 5 nights in order to take advantage of that. So if you do the quick math, that is 560,000 total points for, and again, including the 5th night free, that I needed to come up with. So again, obviously set 17,000 points. It didn't have anywhere near enough to make this booking. So what did I do? So luckily at that time, and it's pretty common, and I believe there's a sale running right now as well. It intermittently goes on and off that Hilton Honors points go on sale for half a cent each. And luckily, like I said, they were on sale at the time that I needed this to happen. So what I quickly purchased the maximum amount of points that you're able to purchase via that Hilton Honors sale. So that was 480,000 points for $2,400, and I locked that in. Some of you who hear that may hear that I spent $2,400 and think like that's automatically a terrible deal. Why would you ever do that? That is not an exciting redemption at all. You're spending a ton of money out of your pocket, and that can be true for some people if you have a tighter budget, or you are like Dugra's reports and everything has to be free and you don't spend a penny out of your pocket. But I'm fortunate enough to be able to allocate some amount of discretionary income to travel. So that is, within the realm of money that I'm willing to spend yearly on travel, in that $2,400 range, and a little bit more than that. So I was happy to quickly purchase that, knowing that I could have great value. So purchased 480,000 Hilton Honors points for $2,400, like I said, and the remaining 80K that was required was covered by the leftover points that I said that I had. And then I also transferred 32,000 Amex membership reward points, which converted into 64,000 Hilton Honors points, because Amex membership rewards transfer 1 to 2 to Hilton Honors. So I was able to quickly come together with the required 560,000 points and secure that booking. So the cash cost for 5 nights for this particular hotel on the nights that I'm going. As of the recording of this video was $8,363.89. That is $1,678 per night. Obviously an insanely expensive and very, very expensive hotel that I would never be able. I just mentioned that I would have $2,400 in my budget to spend, but I would never have $8,300 to spend on a 5-night hotel. So that's just not even in the realm of possibilities for me in my current financial situation. So to be able to kind of secure a hotel like that and get like I'm showing here, it's 1.5 cents per point for Hilton Honors Points, which is a screaming deal. That is, for those of you who don't know, the reasonable redemption rate by Frequent Miler, who I often cite, is around 0.48 cents per point, or I like to just call it an even half a cent a point because that's how much you can buy them for. But to immediately triple those, and on my cost for my cash and my membership rewards, it comes out to a 3 cent per point valuation for this particular hotel, because you multiply it by 2. I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty of all that math at this time, but just trust me on these numbers. So really stellar deal, both from a Hilton Honors perspective and then how I acquired those points. A very, very nice deal there. And the last bullet point I've got on here is that I had, like I said, I alluded to this at the beginning, but I've been monitoring this for a long time, and this really came on my radar through Frequent Miler. So I've got a little screenshot on my on the bottom of the screen here that shows 3 different articles that were written by Greg the Frequent Miler, who's the runner of the site, and then Nick, who is a senior writer and contributor to Frequent Miler, who's also wrote 2 different trip reports and blogs about their trips. And you can see here that, the first one from Nick was amazing, Grand Hotel Victoria concept and spa. And then he returned a year later and said, a return to the SLH Grand Hotel Victoria, a dream within a dream. So very, very glowing reviews. And then Greg, was probably encouraged by the reviews of Nick and went himself. And then he also wrote a glowing review as well. So those types of reviews from people who are, travel experts, and points and miles experts, and who've been to many, many hotels, different countries all over the world, stayed at some of the nicest properties, take the nicest flights. And when they say something and give something an incredible review like that, not once, not twice, but 3 different times, that goes a long way. And that's really where this came onto my radar in the beginning. And then where I wanted to go to Italy in the first place. My wife and I love Italy, and we wanted to go to Lake Como, and this place was just perfect for this. It checked all the boxes. And that's the reason why this has been on my radar and why we eventually went for it. So that is the hotel, Grand Hotel Victoria in Lake Como, 5 nights. So let's talk about the flights. So moving to the first flight. So this is how we're going to get to Italy. So the first leg of the trip I currently have booked, and I say currently because I am looking to refine this, possibly change this booking, or cancel it, find a cheaper one along the way. I'm not super pleased with the value that I've got in the particular route that I'm flying right now. But if you're looking out there, and trust me, I scoured every available source in for the day that I need this flight, based on the award, hotel award that I've got. This is it. Trust me when I say this is the best option. There's almost nothing out there. We're going in peak travel time, not just to Europe, but to this particular city, which we need to fly into Milan to get to Lake Como, northern Italy, and it's just very slim pickings. So I just want to preface it by saying that. So this is the current booking, this is the placeholder, and I'm looking to improve it. So what do I have? So we are currently booked in American Airlines business class from O'Hare to London Heathrow, and the cost for that is 106,500 AA miles per ticket plus $5.60. Again, not amazing value, but I've got AA miles, and this is when I need to go to Italy. This is I've got the hotel at the perfect time that I want it, and I was able to secure it, and this is it. So not great value, but the cash cost for each ticket is $3,338. That is 3.07 cents per point. I just mentioned there that it's not great value, but then I got 3 cents per point. Let me explain that. So The reason for that is that you can typically find some of these different awards for 45, 55,000 Alaska miles, or 75,000 or 90,000 American Airlines miles, since this is on American Airlines metal. So the price that I'm paying here is quite a bit higher than what it could be if different award availability gets released closer to the actual time. So I'm kind of paying at the high end for this particular route, but it is what it is. Still decent value, as evidenced by the 3.07 cents per point, even though cents per point is not the end all be all, but lots of different caveats and things I'm trying to say there. So just to suffice it to say, it's decent value, but I'm trying to refine it. How did I earn these miles? I earned them via a 100K Citi AA Executive. It should be a World Legend card soon, but World Elite MasterCard that I recently did. So sign up bonus there, 100K AA miles, and then also previously did a 75K business card sign up bonus in the past, and that's how I got the miles required for this redemption. This is going to something to note that makes me a little bit more excited about doing this is that this route will fly the brand new flagship suites product that American Airlines offers. I believe it is the 787 9 Dreamliner. Don't quote me on that. It could be the 8 variation, but it is one of the 787 Dreamliner variations, and it's a brand new product. So American Airlines recently released, a redo of their business class that are flying on certain routes, and this is lucky to be one of them. So my home airport is O'Hare, and then every flight from O'Hare to London Heathrow, as I understand it, unless there's an equipment swap, is going to have those new flagship suites. So I was able to snag the two suites. There's a couple suites within those flagship suites that are larger than the rest of them. So I was able to get the larger suites that currently have the same pricing as everything. So decent, that is one silver lining in this not stellar redemption, but in order to make it a little bit better to check out those new flagship suites, that lessens the sting a little bit on the less than stellar deal. All right, so I mentioned previously that I'm going to continue to check for Alaska availability and a price drop or a price drop moving forward. I have about 325,000 Alaska miles from the now dead deal of transferring Amex membership rewards over to Hawaiian and then over to Alaska. So I took advantage of that to the tune of 325,000 Alaska miles now sitting there. So I'm ready to book via Alaska if that does become an option that comes up closer in. Another note to put here is that I still need to book London Heathrow to Milan, but that is just a small positioning flight that will need to happen at some point if I keep this route here. And then the final thing that I'll note here is that there was just a brand new route announced to Milan from Miami on American. So I'm very anxious to see what the pricing is for that. So that might take place of this. So like, let's say that comes out and it's 75,000 American Airlines miles or 55 or 45,000 Alaska miles. I am going to immediately cancel this flight and then book that, even if it is not the new flagship suites, although I haven't confirmed it's not, but I suspect it's not. I would much rather save a lot of miles, fly out of Miami directly into Milan, and then just have to position from ORD to Miami. That would be no problem to be able to do that. So that is a likely change that's going to come soon, and also something that I'll talk about here on the next slide on the flights that are on the return. Another option is there is a nonstop flight from via United that flies directly. It's the only nonstop flight between O'Hare and MXP, which is the airport code for Milan, and it is a United flight, but that flight is extremely high priced. And the business class awards for that are over 200,000 United miles. No saver availability to book through Air Canada Airplan or anything like that. But I just want to mention that I would prefer nonstop premium economy on that United flight just to get directly from Milan to O'Hare. I would prefer premium economy over business class and having a connection. That's just my personal preference. My wife has the same preference as myself, just really valuing that nonstop flight and not having to make the international connection. It's huge. I would rather fly in a less nice seat and fly premium economy. The only problem with that is that the premium economy seats for this particular route, the day that I need it, are 6,000 United miles each, which is obviously not a great deal. So I'm not currently doing that, but I will keep my eye out on that United flight. If saver availability comes up for that nonstop, I will absolutely jump on that as well when the time comes. So that is the flight from O'Hare to London Heathrow to get me to Europe. So let's move on to the flight home. What did I book? I just alluded to it and just talked a bit about it. So I did book premium economy from Milan back to my home airport of O'Hare on the way home. And the reason I was able to do that is because the dates that I need have a more reasonable, although albeit it's quite high, as you can see here, 76,550 United miles plus $48.31 per ticket. Then this is for premium economy and not for business class. That is a quite a high price to pay for premium economy, but I'm willing to do it because, like I just said, I very, very much value just getting home. I want to fly nonstop. That one of the perks of having O'Hare as my home airport is it's got, I believe, the most nonstop destinations, international destinations of any United States airport, and I intend to kind of take advantage of those. So a lot of people in the hobby and in the points and miles in the travel space don't flinch when talking about just positioning everywhere, and that can be the case if you're somebody like Luke's Points and Miles. You live in Columbus, well, you're going to have to connect no matter what you do. Or if you're somebody like Dugras Reports and you live in near Des Moines, you're going to have to connect no matter what you do. A lot of people have to connect no matter what, just based on where they live. I don't. I'm fortunate enough to be able to easily transit to O'Hare, and I just really I do not want to connect at all. Period. Like I'm willing to pay 76,000 United miles in order to not have to connect versus some of the other options that I was looking at for getting home. Granted, there was like almost no award availability to get home. There was some terrible I believe deals at one point through Alaska where you had to pay like, almost $1,000 in taxes and fees to transit through London Heathrow, in addition to like 50,000 miles, which is not a great deal. Not about to do that and it was about a 1.5 cent per point valuation on the business class. That just doesn't sound good. I don't want to do that. I would much rather just, fly premium economy. So anyways, all that being said, the cash cost for this ticket per ticket is $3,114. That is very, very expensive for premium economy. This is a 3.8 cent per point valuation. So I just said terrible deal, 76,500 United miles plus $48.31 per ticket. I said that was a bad deal, but then I get down here and actually this 3.8 cents per point is higher than the hotel and it's higher than the American flight that I just talked about. What do I mean by that? So This flight, the cash cost for this is extremely inflated, in my opinion. To get to $3,114 for a premium economy ticket, it's got to be because this is peak travel time. There is only one route from Milan to O'Hare, and the United this is not organically priced that high, in my opinion. This should be probably like a $2,000 ticket in my opinion. So it's quite expensive. So that 3.8 cents per point looks great on paper, but just with the context like that, it's not a 3.8 cent per point deal. In any event, I booked it. So next bullet point here, like I said multiple times, only nonstop flight between O'Hare and Milan. Very, very important. So how did I book this? So many people are going to jump to the comments and say, how could you do that? How could you not transfer your Chase points to Hyatt? So I transferred Chase Ultimate Rewards over in order to make this booking. I had about 40,000 United miles already in my account. So I just had to top that off so what did I do? Like 110,000-ish. Chase Ultimate Reward points transferred over in order to do that. So like I said, like I know there's a lot of people that are just firing off in the comments. How could you not, transfer everything to Hyatt from Chase? That's terrible. Why would you ever transfer to United? Well, the reason why I feel comfortable doing that is because one, this is the exact flight on the exact day. The exact route that I want to take. This is the flight that I want to be on. It's very important to me, and I wanted to do it. So that's point one. And then point two is that I have 160,000 Hyatt points already in my Hyatt account, which is quite a bit, and I have no immediate plans to use them at this time. I'm sure things will come up, and I'll be making plans for the rest of 2026, things that I haven't even thought of or trips I need to take. They're going to be used, but like right now, I have 160, a huge chunk of Hyatt points, no immediate use. And for those two reasons, I, felt comfortable in making that transfer. If I didn't have any Hyatt points and I just had, would I have made this transfer? I don't know. I still might have done it, but probably not. It would be close. Just having those points in the bank makes a big difference. But it would have been close. Probably lean no transfer. So that's the thought process there. What are my next steps on this? I'm going to continue to look for saver availability for close in. The business class, the Polaris business class seats for this particular flight are currently at 185,000 United miles per ticket. I'm not doing that. I would rather pay 76,000 and fly in premium economy over 185,000 in business. So I'm going to just be patient and wait for that to come down. Hopefully it does at some point and we get close in. We're 1-2 weeks out and they haven't sold all the seats yet. And hopefully they lower that and release saver availability via Airplan or some other Star Alliance partner, and I'll be able to snag it there. So I'm just be patient. Right now, I'm happy with this book. If it stays as is, fine. This is something I'm very happy with there. So that is the return leg in the last piece of this trip. Just a full breakdown here. Total cash costs for this trip at the time of the recording of this video is $21,267.89, bringing an average cent per point valuation of 3.27 cents per point. Not bad, but there is, it's not incredible, game changing, 8 cents per point. This is incredible. Like it's good. It's very, very, very good. I will take that, but I think there's opportunity for me to refine this trip and fine tune it, like I've been saying, to maybe update that American Airlines flight and do the Miami to Milan route if it's cheaper and no taxes and fees, since you're not transiting through London Heathrow. It'll be hopefully it'll be 45,000 Alaska miles, $5.60. And I'll be able to fly that. Maybe it'll even be the new flagship suites, or I'll be able to, get saver availability for the business class flight, and I'll be able to kind of up that. So there are some things to do that I feel relatively confident that I'll be able to continue to upgrade in a sense this trip and continue to work on it. But as it stands now, very pleased with this trip. I'm super happy to be able to knock another bucket list item off here and visit this incredible hotel. I've got it, pulled it up in my background here. As you can see, this is just a stunning, stunning area. This is the actual hotel over my right shoulder here. It is just unbelievable, surrounded by mountains on the lake. Heard amazing things, and just gonna have a very nice, relaxing, luxury Italian vacation with my wife next year. So looking forward to that very, very much. If you enjoyed this video and you enjoyed the breakdown and really getting into the details in the weeds and found value from this video, please like and consider subscribing to the channel. That support would really help, and I would be very, very much appreciated. If you want to further support me, I've got multiple credit card referral links down in the pinned comment below and in the description. If you sign up via one of those referral links to any card there, that's a huge way to support the channel. Just make sure that the offers are competitive and that they're the highest available public offer at the time before you sign up. So just make sure before you sign up. And then if you do, that would be greatly appreciated. A huge way to support the channel. I always really appreciate that. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. If you did, I really, really appreciate it. Till next time.